Connor here for Strictly Broken on my new weekly video series, Connor's English Corner. This will be the first episode of Connor's English Corner for October 23rd, 2017. So, people are probably wondering right now, what is Connor's English Corner? So every Monday, I will be doing a video on English Vice Shorts. Here is a just sort of monthly breakdown on what each episode throughout a month will be. The first and third Mondays, I'll do a deck discussion on just sort of not really a series, but more of just a specific build of a deck. So you might see something like a Yellow Madoka or Accelerate Build Sword Art, rather than just Sword Art in general. So I can get sort of more in-depth on these without having to cover a ton of cards for a lot of series. Also, any month where there are 5 Mondays, the 5th Monday will also be an extra deck discussion. The second Monday of every month, I will try to have a guest on, either someone who has topped a recent event, or just someone who I think has something very interesting to talk about for the game. And then the 4th Monday of every month will just sort of be a monthly review, where I cover the tournament results throughout that month, or the newly announced sets, or anything like that. So with this being the 4th Monday of October, I'll be doing a review of October. Not a whole lot happened this month. There were a good number of regionals for the Autumn Bushiroad Championship Series, and as of today, we now have an release date for Persona 5 in English, since it was originally delayed from June and then July. February 16th, 2018 will be the trial deck and booster pack for Persona 5. Not really a ton to say here, since it's not really like a new set announcement. It's something we've known we're going to be getting for 6 months now, just about. So, yeah, not a whole lot to say, but it's good to know that we finally have a release date. So I'll probably be covering more about Persona 5 closer to release. So the first event that happened this month was the Santiago, Chile Autumn BCS. The top 8 here, as you can see: Konosuba, Love Live, Tuto Love Ruse, Kantai, Sunshine, Sword Art, and Nisekoi. Pretty diverse top 8. First place was Konosuba, which is the first real Konosuba top, I believe. At least the first top 3 for the deck, since it released in August. So that's pretty neat. The second place was Love Live, and third place was Tolovru, 2 sets that we're pretty used to seeing by now. Manila, Philippines, I don't have top 8 data on that. I haven't seen that posted anywhere, and Bushiroad doesn't officially post top 8, so oh well. We do have first place, another Love Live, second place, Sword Art, and third place is Attack on Titan. So the Attack on Titan is this is sort of the first big top for Attack on Titan since its new set as well, which released at the end of September. So it's nice to see Attack on Titan starting to work its way into those top spots here. Unfortunately, we still just don't have really info on what kind of builds these were for all of these decks. Bushiroad hasn't uploaded actual deck lists for anything since the Texas Regional in September. Here we have the Richmond, British Columbia Regional, which we know great diverse top 8, 4 Sword Art, 3 AOT, and 1 Tolovru, where Strictly Broken's own Yue Peng got first place with Attack on Titan, and has a deck profile video of that posted on the channel. Second place was Sword Art Online, and third place was another Attack on Titan. So really all I have to say about this is what when people think of what English used to be, where just the stagnant, everyone's playing Sword Art, everyone's playing Attack on Titan. This is exactly that. Love it. Really, this is the only regional recently where this has happened, and we've had just 2 series dominate all of the top 8. But I think it does show that Attack on Titan, even fairly close after its release, is just taking a lot of slots. So it's a really good deck. Sword Art as well. keeping its pretty standard, really high representation, really high cut rate. The only representation we've seen recently is Texas, where Sword Art was about 15%. So we do know that it is dropping, but how much, I'm not completely sure. That could have just been one event. Auckland, New Zealand. I have not seen anything. It happened October 14th and 15th. I have not seen a top 8. I have not seen a top 3. I have not seen anything posted anywhere. And Bushiroad hasn't uploaded that information either. So, unfortunately, nothing to say about this one. If anyone does have results for that, let me know. And I can cover that either next month or something like that. Alright, and then we have Atlanta, Georgia, which just happened yesterday. The top 8 was very diverse. Tolovru, Attack on Titan, Konosuba, Kantai Collection, Madoka, 2 Sword Arts, and a Love Live. First place was Tolovru, second place Attack on Titan, and third place Konosuba. Right? So since I was present at that event yesterday, I'll be doing a little tournament report on that. The event was a lot smaller than Atlanta is used to having. The Atlanta Regional, it was originally supposed to be in Jacksonville, Florida, but due to Hurricane Irma damaging the hotel it was supposed to be in, the event was moved sort of last minute to Atlanta, Georgia. So I think that had a lot to do with the smaller turnout. There were about 70 players. So it was only a 5-round event. A couple X1s missed cut because of it, but I think it was like 3 X1s missed cut. Overall, it was actually a very well-run event as far as Weiss went. There were no issues with pairings. There was one minor issue that was solved fairly quickly. Everything went very smoothly. No issues with deck checking in Top Cut. No ruling issues that I heard of. So everything was done very well. So I played Attack on Titan for this event, the yellow-red build. Very, very similar to UA's list. I'll cover that after I go through these. So my round 1, I played against Sword Art Online. This was one of the Sword Arts that eventually made top 8. It was a red-blue Sword Art build, playing the Lisbeth Accelerate level 1 game with the global plus 500 Lisbeths that allow you to pay 1 and salvage when you use an Accelerate ability. So he had a way to get advantage even without reversing my errands, but having to clock himself and then not get the salvage off of the level 1 Lisbeth did kind of hurt him in the long run. So I pushed him to level 1 first, just fielding runners. When he hit level 1, he played down 2 of the LA Clone Lisbeth and 1 of the Accelerator. He did his Accelerate, had 2 globals in the back, so he still got to pay 2 and salvage 2. He wasn't able to get a reverse that turn because of my runners. And I basically just responded with like 2 Aaron level 1s and a global plus 1,000 just to reverse most of his board and get my maneuver gears. So for the rest of the game, it was pretty much him not really having ways to get much advantage without just clocking himself and paying a lot of stock. His climaxes were the Xenon book, and then his other climax, I don't know the exact spread, but he had red plus 2 souls, pants, and doors. So I canceled fairly well. I went into level 2 with 7 stock, so I figured it was pretty safe to play the Mikasa change into the field swapper just to win some board. He ended up not being able to put me to level 3 on the next turn, so I just got another turn to build more stock and went into level 3 with 10 stock and had my Mikasas. So just played down the finishers and pretty easy top end. Just deal a bunch of instances of 1 damage to kill him. My round 2, I went up to table 5, and for some reason, table 5 1-0 record no-show. I don't know where the guy went. I don't know what happened, but he never showed up, so I got a win. Round 3, I moved up to table 4, and we played against Tolovru. So this was a matchup that I was kind of looking forward to. I knew the guy I was playing against. He had been telling me all day long that he didn't want to play against me because he knew what I was playing. And we sat down, played against each other. He ended up getting one Mekon reverse at level 1, just because I put him to level 1 first and had no way. Or no, he put me to level 1 but only had one character on board. So I could only get one reverse and had no way to guarantee that like all three of my characters would be safe from Mekon. So he fielded three Mekons and got one reverse on me. Ended up not being a huge issue in the long run. He didn't get another one after that. He hit level 3. He didn't have too many cards in hand. He was able to play down two Yamis, but didn't have the wind. So he just had to play a gold bar and didn't finish me off. So I just played down three Mikasas and the split 2k1 and hit him for a bunch of instances of 1. This is a very threatening top end that not many decks can really deal with. And since I had the Armin assist on my board, he couldn't play Darkness Counter to nullify my damage. Alright, so round 4, I played against probably the most interesting deck I played against all day. It was a Kantai Collection deck. It played some crazy number of level 0s. Honestly, probably like 38 level 0s. And 4 copies of the 1/1 Oyoto that when it gets reversed, you put the top card of your deck into your waiting room, and if it's a level 0, then the Oyoto rests herself. So all game, he just had Oyoto on board, and every time he would crash it or I would reverse it, it just rested itself. And his climaxes were yellow stock souls and pants. So he was able to play a climax pretty much every turn, and just keep his Oyotos on board, which was neat. It was an interesting deck. I ended up winning though at like level 2 with like 11 stock. The deck just wasn't threatening enough. It just couldn't push damage. It couldn't really kill my characters a whole lot. So between playing Mikasa field swaps and just being able to play my wind climaxes, I was able to keep a ton of hand, not really have to do anything every turn. And eventually, I just had enough stock that my compression was fairly good, and beat him out. So my round 5, I got paired against Rudro, the winner of the Indianapolis Regional. He was playing the same Abyssal Kantai Collection deck that he played there. He was actually my only loss in that tournament. Round 3 of Swiss and in top 4 were both to Rudro against his Abyssals. So I was ready for my rematch. I was ready to get revenge. And it was probably the closest game I played. I don't know about the closest I played all day, but it was a super close game. He ended up putting me to level 3 while he was still at level 2. And I could only I just played down some characters. I didn't really want to go all in on my top end yet. So I just played a healer, healed down a little bit, and managed to hit him to like 2-6. He clocked to level 3, played down his restander and a clock kick, and hit me to like 3-4, and with one attack, and I canceled his other 3. And he hit me to like 3-3 with an attack, clock kicked me to 3-4. I canceled his other attacks. He's at 3-0. I only have one of the burn Mikasa and the climax, so I just play what I can, and end up hitting him to like 3-2. Like I did like no damage, he just canceled everything, and he just plays another round of his characters. He didn't have a climax this time, so he just swings out. I managed to cancel all 3 of his attacks that were all for lethal damage. And then on my next turn, I had to deal 4 damage. Had no climax, no characters. I 3-stock encored my Mikasa and pushed 2 1-soul attackers up from back row. And managed to get the 4 damage through that I needed to win the game. So, super close game. We were probably both into top 8 anyway at that point. Just because we were both undefeated. But in the end, I got the win. I went into top 8 as second seed. There were 3 undefeateds at the end. And then all 5 X1s that went to top 8 had their only loss to one of the 3 undefeated players. So the Abyssal that I played in round 5 ended up going into top 8 as 4th seed. So top 8, I played against another Sword Art deck. This was not the one that I played in round 1, though he did make top 8 and ended up getting 4th place. So my top 8 opponent was a Silica waifu deck. It was actually the same person that I played against last fall in BWC 2016 in my top 8 match. So he played +2 souls and 2 K1s, and basically just slammed a +2 soul every turn for about 4 turns. So I'd go through my attacks and deal like a level's worth of damage in 3 attacks. He didn't cancel at all because he just kept like drawing all of his climaxes. So my 3 attacks would hit him up a level, and then he would play his +2 soul. I'd cancel 2 attacks, and the 3rd attack would just send me up a level. And then I'd hit him a level. He'd play his 2 soul and send me up a level. And it was just like, we were just eating huge chunks of damage back and forth. But once I got to level 3, I had enough stock to play down 2 Mikasas and the climax. And he just had drawn too many climaxes and triggered them. And I was able to just stick through the last like 5 or 6 damage that I needed. So top 4, I played against Konosuba. So this was the 3rd undefeated in the tournament. First seed was To Love Ru. I was 2nd seed. 3rd seed was this Konosuba. He played against Madoka in top 8, which was also his round 5 Swiss opponent. So I played against him. It was a red-blue. I know it had red and blue. I'm not sure if it had any like darkness level 3s or anything. I know it played the darkness Taketsubo clone at level 0. The pay 1, clock yourself, rest to search. He was playing 8 red stock souls. So he had the trial deck Megumin level 1 combo, 5500 1-0, can't side attack, and on reverse salvage. And then he was playing the level 3 Megumin, where you pay 1, deal 4 damage, clock kick, and then rest the Megumin. So I was thinking going into it, he was also playing the early play Eris restander. So I was thinking going into it, like, if I just hold my John back up and my Armin assist, I can get hexproof so he can't clock kick me. I can anti-change his Erises so he can't restand. And I was thinking, like, all these things that the matchup would just go really well for me. He had a reverse combo, which was awesome. I was expecting Union, but when he had the Megumin, like, he has to reverse now. So this is just getting really good for me. And then I triggered 2 wins into stock on my first turn. And then canceled with another one. And we'll just say that I never got an Aaron combo off that game. I never got the win. I just had to play characters and just pray that I could get damage through. Eventually, he early played 2 Erises when he hit level 2. Restood both of them. Thankfully, I canceled some attacks. He hit a +2 soul trigger on one of his first attacks. So that one was swinging for like 5 on the second attack, and I was able to cancel that. But I was just playing characters, brainstorming, hoping for the best. I managed to push him to level 3. He played down 2 of his Megumins, and still had an Eris on board, but wasn't able to restand the Eris since he had a Megumin in middle that wasn't going to attack. He ended up putting me to like 3-4 or 3-5, like super close, and I canceled his last attack. So I have like 3 useless cards in hand. My only character on board is a Brainstorm. I had like 7 stock, maybe 6 or 7 stock. I just pay 1, Brainstorm. I did have a split 2k1 in hand. I had been holding it in case I managed to draw the Mikasa level 3s, which I didn't. But I was in a like fairly refreshed deck. I only refreshed like 4 climaxes though, because I was holding 1 and had just triggered a bunch. So like, but I Brainstorm. I managed to hit 2 climaxes. I grabbed 2 of the Mikasas, play both of them, play like a random costless character that I drew off of them, and play the split 2k1. So I attack with my first Mikasa, burn 1, cancels. Front for 3, cancels. Pay 2, burn 1, cancels. Attack with my second Mikasa, burn 1, cancels. And like, we were both just really confused at this point, but it turns out that was pretty much all the climaxes left in his deck that I just blew out with all those burns. So then my frontal attack for 3 went through, and then pay 2 to burn 1 for game. So I was able to pull that one out, just somehow managed to hit my brainstorm, and that one got me there. So I went into the finals against Tolovru, the first seed undefeated. We had been hoping to play each other in the finals. He's someone I've played before in tournaments, so we're good friends. I was really hoping I'd get to play him. Tolovru, I went into the game like Tolovru's a good matchup for AOT. It's a really good matchup. He ended up not getting a single Mekon reverse off all game. I played the Aaron combo like 3 times. My game was going really well. He managed to cancel pretty well. He hit some brainstorms when he needed them. So he wasn't really like falling behind, but I had everything I needed to sort of close out the game. And we get to level 3. I'm at 3-4. And he has, or so he hits me once for 2. So I was at 3-2. He hits me up to 3-4. I have like plenty of stock. I have 2 Mikasas in hand. I have the split 2k1. I'm ready to go. He ends up triggering like 3 climaxes throughout that turn. He discarded 1. He triggered 1 on his first attack. He ends up triggering 1 on his second attack. He had played 1 that turn, and just like a ton of stuff. And in the end, he has 2 attacks left. I'm at 3-4. I have 5 cards in deck. 2 of them are climaxes. He swings for 2, triggers a wind for 3, and I just eat 3. And the 2 climaxes were the bottom 2 cards of my deck. So I ended up losing. Second place. Oh well. It was a matchup that everything in the matchup went well for me. I ended up dying. So it was a really good tournament run. Here we can see my deck. This was the list I played. It's very similar to UA's list. The whole like yellow red core. I play a lot more red than him, or at least like a decent bit more red than him. So the key differences in our lists, I figure I'd cover. You can watch his video if you just want to see like all the cards in general. I'm not going to take a ton of time to go through that. So I played 3 Mikasa runners. He played none. Instead, he played 4 of the Aaron Stock Bomb from the original trial deck. I think the Aaron Stock Bomb is fine. It's good because it can pump power into your Aaron level 1s. It can crash itself and still remove its opposing character. It can deny Rens. It can deny Inazumas, Hibikis, stuff like that. And crash itself. So it's good, and it's yellow. I played the Mikasa runner for 2 reasons. 1, I don't own Aaron stock bombs, and they're like $9, and I'm not gonna go buy them. I don't think they're so crucial that I need to go do that. I think the Mikasa runner is actually really good. It's a better turn 1 play than Aaron stock bomb. I feel like, just because it's a runner, it's gonna live. It gives you a mill 1, which it puts characters in your waiting room that you can grab out with Krista. It can potentially mill a maneuver gear that you can grab back with your Aaron level 1 combo. Like, mill 1 obviously isn't going to have like a huge impact most of the time, but it's there. And the other thing is that it lets me field characters more aggressively without having to worry about pushing my opponent to level 1. Because the Mikasa runner can still dodge my opponent's reverse combos even if I hit them to level 1 first. So I think the Mikasa runner is really good, sort of like in the mirror against Tolovru. You can just push them more aggressively and not have to worry about their reverse combos. Alright, so I play 3 of the Armin level 1 and 3 of the Aaron global, whereas UA played 4 of the Armin and only 2 Aarons. I think this probably just comes down to preference. I think the Aaron global is useful enough in enough matchups that I wanted at 3 just to see it a little more often. Whereas the Armin, I'm really only playing it just to mill through cards in bad scenarios. So I didn't really see it as a necessary 4 of. I played 1 copy of the Armin level 2, 1 copy of the Mikasa changer. I did play the Aaron stock bomb and Jean counter, which UA did not play either of. So the Jean counter, I figured people would probably be playing early plays. and John just means that, like, I'm probably still gonna have a board, so no matter where they attack, I can just sort of like effectively anti-damage them, and the discard 2 cost isn't really big because Attack on Titan ends up making a lot of hand if you get your Aaron combos off. And the Aaron Stock Bomb, mainly in there for Konosuba, the Darkness early play, which ended up, I never played against that. Uh, so it really ended up, I never ended up using the card, or the John counter for that matter. The one matchup where I was like really excited about having both of them was my top 4 game against Konosuba, but because I never got my Aaron combo off, I just didn't really have the hand to justify like holding them or discarding 2 for John. So I just had to clock him away and just to get more cards really. The John counter would have been really nice against the Eris restanders though, because you can just anti-change an Eris and there go 2 of his attacks. One Armin level 3 assist, pretty standard. 4 of the finisher. So UA played 4 Mikasa healers, the set 1 Mikasa. Instead, I'm playing 3 and 1 Krista level 3. My reason for the Krista level 3, you're never really going to want to play multiple Mikasa healers in most matchups. Like, you'll probably change into one. So, like, you want multiple copies so you can have it in waiting room. You'll play it if you absolutely need a healer. But if you're at level 3 and need to just, like, hardcast a healer, Krista is usually better, since she only costs 1 stock, potentially 0 stock, and also gives you information on the top card of your deck at the same time, so you can know, like, triggers or whatever. She dodges anti-heal, so she's your only real way to heal in the Kantai matchup, which also ended up not being super relevant. But just overall, like, I think the option of having her as a cheaper healer, so you can conserve stock for your Mikasa combo, is probably better than being forced to play the 2 stock for the Mikasa healer. So yeah, I'm playing the 1 copy, just because I think it's better than just maxing out on Mikasa healers. Because you're not always just going to want to slam Mikasa healers. And the last difference in our decks is that UA played 4 of the old maneuver gear. I'm playing 1 copy of the new one. At level, so like, late game, I guess, like level 3 or whatever, it lets you have a full board and still be able to dodge on reverse effects. And even early game, like if you do end up fielding a full board, it lets you bounce your characters back to hand. You can reuse Armin if that's ever relevant. But like you can have a full field, not have to worry about needing to maneuver gear somewhere. Also, just if you have a full back row in general, maneuver gear often won't save your character. Or the old maneuver gear won't save your character, so the new one can do that. More importantly, it's like the only real waiting room access the deck has. And when I'm playing so many one-ofs, like the one-of, all my level 2s being one-ofs, and the Armin Assist being a one-of, sometimes you just, like, trigger check a card, or, like, damage a card that you need to see, or, like, you brainstorm, and you're like, I'm gonna brainstorm and go search my Mikasa changer, and then you mill out your Mikasa changer. Sometimes you just want that waiting room access. So it's nice. Cause like you're grabbing your maneuver gears out of waiting room with Aaron anyway. So at 1 copy you can still grab it when you need it, which isn't super often, but like you're never gonna be you're really gonna be stuck with it at 1 copy. Like you still have the 3 old ones that your Aarons can grab if the old one is better, which it usually is. So yeah, just having that that waiting room access is nice. You don't really care about like taking the -1 if you main phase it, just because Attack on Titan builds so much hand. So I mean, usually when I did play it, I was main phasing it to grab something that I trigger checked earlier or went into my clock and ended up going to waiting room. So I liked having it for that reason. But yep, so that's pretty much the end of this, I guess. Next Monday we'll be doing our first deck discussion video. Thanks for watching. Check out Strictly Broken's other videos. Check out strictlybrokenTCG.com. Go buy all your singles. Go buy all your AOT stuff. Whatever's left of it. This deck is amazing. Yeah, so thanks for watching. This has been Connor. And that's all for this week.